Just a moment. Give me a little fee, but everything should be okay. I know when we're going to get the audio exactly. Probably sooner rather than later, but for now, the race is going to start in just a little bit. If you don't know what Aim Tour Weekly, or you don't know what Aim Tour is in general, Aim Tour is a remake of Metroid 2. That's a remake of Metroid 2, so you're basically fighting a bunch of Metroids and getting their DNA and stuff. Well, in this case, their DNA. On the one hand, we don't have to. We don't actually have to fight all the Metroids, unlike AM Tour. We just have to collect 10 DNA, which are scattered around the Metroids. On the other hand, scattered around the Metroids, so it can be basically any Metroid anywhere, including the Omegas. And the world's pretty spread out. But for the preset, which is pretty new, I don't entirely remember, and locked super missiles on the first alpha. I don't entirely remember the settings, but from what I do remember, we start with charge beam, morph ball, power grip, and missile launcher, which pretty standard except for charge beam. Kind of forgot the other changes from last week, so I guess we'll go from there. Going to go from there. Though for now, we gonna take the usual route, which is doing the first alpha, going to A1, going to Golden Temple to get our first progression items and see where we go from there. But sometimes Golden Temple doesn't actually have anything. So yeah, the room names are great. As well. Anyway. Just a missile. There's a missile in bomb area and safer sitting of a gun. Sometimes progression isn't at Golden Temple. It's quite rare, but it can happen, which means some of our progression can be in lower, in the A2 or the beginning of A3. This really depends, and for probably not having much of anything except maybe a missile tank, which is gonna pick up probably for a bit of safety. So probably regretfully considering the boss that you need to do to get up, and progressive suit. That doesn't exactly do anything, but is a prerequisite to getting gravity suit, which is gravity suit's really useful for lower distribution center, which is A5, which otherwise is A5, which is not that bad. Unless we're having Varia as well. So at the moment, Varia doesn't really do much of anything other than just damage reduction, so nothing really that interesting in Golden Temple then. And a prerequisite to another item that we will probably need later. No? Well, we get a bit of the normal stuff out of the way, and the normal routing until stuff gets interesting. If you're interested in running this randomizer, or just doing the weeklies, or watching this and thinking, Oh, I should join in on the weeklies. We do indeed have a RDV. We do indeed have a Discord, and in fact, it is connected to a bigger thing called RDV, which can be also a bunch of other randomizers as well. But for now, mainly just aim to our. For now, and for the focus of this stream, it's mainly just aim to our. There you go. Yeah. Managed to join the Discord, and we're going from there. And Wordslayer killing the Metroid right outside of Area 2 or Hydro Station. Oh, didn't even. Oh, Jay, no. Anyway. We're getting a progressive jump, which is interesting, which means the Morph will glide up to the other item where it's going as in logic right as of now. But it's not really anything, just a missile. So not too bad. A missile. Let's see. Until we get to a certain point, at a certain point, missiles are going to become very redundant in the run, because the more missiles you have, the more health that Queen has in scaling, and it's only on missiles, not supers. So if you get a ton of supers, it doesn't really matter. And to another Metroid 2 Randovania. Oh my god. That actually sounds good, why? Anyway, Ledger and eventually where it's getting our first DNA, the first of 10, which are scattered all the way around the place. Which are hinted on these little things called Septogs. They're kinda adorable, but they also can be quite detrimental because sometimes they just don't give useful hints. Because they're funny and they're cute little things that either like or hate us sometimes. And then we're going right past what we call a speed booster upgrade, which just makes getting speed booster just a little faster. There's not too many in this preset, but sometimes they are very useful, especially for some of the more expert-ish speed boosters, Shine Sparks or speeds. That just makes them just a little bit easier, and you can sometimes choose more of the tight speed boosters, sparks. Now seeing Ledger and Words, basically in A2 because there's not any other place. Oh, hehe, Omega time. Or yes, we're gonna have to go fight in Omega, which is a logical requirement for a lot of things, but Ledger not entirely too confident in doing. Entirely. But yeah, not doing the breeding grounds too just yet. Still, which is a little interesting. That might be detrimental, might not. Who knows? We'll figure that out soon-ish. See if it's the play to go back down to A3 and get the 2 freedoms there, or just doing the majority of A2. Oh, and Ledger actually. And odds are doing the right play and getting bombs very early in the seed. It's very interesting. And the Gamma down here having a Gamma and BG2 having a DNA, so kind of worth it. Kind of worth it for words, but Ledger having a bit more to do since they have bombs. We're probably going to get them pretty soon, seeing how Breeding Grounds 2 doesn't have much of anything. Oh, and speed boosters right here as well. Wow. Industrial Complex is lit today. So that pretty much opens up an Industrial Complex. Regretfully, opens up an Industrial Complex, especially with the lit items we have. Bombs opening up way down and going to super check and going all the way down factory. And Ledger also getting space jump. Yep. Pretty sure we're just going down into industrial complex at this point, or we go into tower. Which could be very much possible considering there's a few gamers there, but at the same time, who really knows. At Ledger going for an ether, an ether. On the bottom right of the tracker. Bottom right. That is the DNAs. That is what they're hunting for. Well, there is a model for them. We're not going to see that model because it's not DNA anymore, but the DNA indicates how many DNA we have. Well, I can't really see it on the Discord restream because bitrate. On the Twitch screen, you will see an indicator on the top right of the screen. At the top right, that looks like a DNA. That looks sort of like the same thing on the tracker. It looks like a Helix DNA, and with the number at the bottom of that is how many DNA we have left. So we have two places where we see our DNAs. But on the other hand, there's gonna be DNA hints as well that are going to tell us where DNAs are. Usually they're helpful. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes we get joke hints, and they're funny, but a little annoying. And words are going into a industrial complex themselves, probably about to get speed booster because speed booster and space jump. It doesn't seem like much is here, except for the bombs and speed boosters, which is a lot, mind you. Not too much though. What we need now. Ledger going into the bottom of the industrial complex. Surprised they both haven't tried to do, or... I'm surprised we haven't had a divergence yet. We will as soon as Word gets space jump, but we'll see, unless Word just doesn't... Okay, there we go. We might see a bit of a divergence when Word has space jump. Just to go right into A4, or just doing the rest of the industrial complex like Ledger is. This seems like it's saying we should be going into industrial complex, but I'm not entirely sure. Could also mean we're going to tower for a few items as well. Going down to tower. Was a missile? Gosh, finding a lot of missiles here. Let's see, where to let your going the same places of industrial complex, which seem kind of like a dud at the moment, except for DNA, the DNA on the alpha down here. On the alpha. Feeling a little bit like a dud, yep. Just a Lux power one. It's a bit of a dud at the moment. Except for the factors seem like just a bit of a dud at the moment, except for the alpha. So probably Tower has more of a progression than we had like an A3 build, an industrial complex. Either way. Brett's gonna be hauling electric footsteps for just a little bit. They'll probably catch up with each other eventually. They'll... Ledger? Okay, Ledger remembers how to do this. Yeah, there we go. Especially with this breeding ground and breeding ground should kind of being a dud. Other than maybe the one DNA that on the gamma, which we can get pretty much later because we have to. We're probably going to get around to it eventually. I have to go back there to go to the transfer to labs. So that you can kind of relegate it to basic cleanup. Oh, with like A3 and A1, you relatively want to get done as relatively quickly, or once you get in there, you kind of want to get everything done and get out. So you kind of don't want to go back there again, because getting back there is slow. Oh, let's your save warping out of it. Save warping out, especially with nothing there, but huh? Slightly confused, but alright. Oh no, that's safe warping out. Did they die there? Might have died. Think about that. Yeah. But Ledger getting the DNA out of the gammas here. Not too surprising, but we're also going down into Golden Temple breeding grounds to see if there's anything there. It kind of doesn't seem like anything is here so far from what I can tell in the tracker. Just the DNA down there. So, another DNA. Interesting. Sec, we get to see another hint from the Wisdom Step Dogs. Hopefully another hint from the Wisdom Step Dogs, or a drope. And something here and that. Oh, very good. Nice. Thanks, game. I will mention, while Word is ahead 1 DNA, I don't particularly think they're ahead. I don't think particularly either one of them is very much ahead until we get to see another major item of progression. Could honestly be kind of anywhere. Which at this point could be, yeah. Our next progression could possibly just kind of be anywhere. And just another thing. Both them doing kind of each other's checks at this point. Alright, does kind of. Again, it really does boil down to where our next major is, which I think is probably in Tower Research Site with how many E that we can. I don't know how many E tanks we comfortably have. Already. Oh, it's just a DNA knocking. So, yeah. At this point, both of them just having basically kind of the other side. Oh, never mind. Word Slayer has Fireball Launcher. Alright, that gives us a few more checks, but not too many. Not too many more checks, but does give Words a bit of a lead. Especially on the front of just basic power or having more stuff, especially with Arachnos being quite a bit quicker with enough PBs. Yeah, I think Ledger finding the gamma that they've already killed. And Arachnos also having nothing. So, a bit interesting. So with Threads having with Threads having PB launcher, that does give them a little bit of advantage, especially with a few checks that you can do on the way in and out of A2. And with now having bombed a lot of hydro station areas. Oh, hey, that's screw attack. Oh no. Great spot for screw attack. That also could mean we have a lot of things. And plasma research site. Ew. Very two different routing choices lead to two very interesting rewards. Plasma being good for the end of the game, so you don't have to use bombs all the time. On the other hand, we have PBs and screw attack. Whereas is probably very interested in as of right now. And if you don't know what screw attack does, screw attack basically kind of opens up basically the entire game. Almost essentially the entire game. So it's pretty much going. You can go pretty much anywhere with screw attack, or between all the different areas with screw attack. So it pretty much opens a majority of the game. No, on the other hand, it can be a little bit of a detriment because you have a bunch of places you can go with screw attack, and sometimes it's a bit much to think about. The back of a item not being too useful. At the same time, Tower is now kind of in logic, especially with the BBs and whatnot. Tower, it could be the better play as of now. Oh, especially since if supers are right there. Supers are literally right in, falls right into our laps. Alright. If word does go back to A2, that is basically, no, not words. If Ledger goes back to A2 and word doesn't go to A4 immediately, that's basically going to give Ledger a pretty good lead, especially with Supers making a ton of the Metroids in Logic. I mean, granted, you can do the Metroids without Super. It's just kind of slow. Especially the Zetas, which don't really have a weak spot. But we're gonna see where our Ice Beam is for a second. Oh. Hey, Abyss, I would like... Abyss... can we blame Abyss for joining the seed? Oh. Oh no. I shall be right back. In just a moment. Shit, I should not be too long. I am very much back. It took me just a few minutes. But, we have Word Slate with Phaser and Wave Beam now. As well as Ledger only just getting into Area 2. Probably about to find their... Ah, Wave and Phaser. Thank you, Kirby. Ledger just probably about to find their screw attack very quickly, or... Yeah, gonna find their screw attack very quickly, and found PB Launcher as well. So with how much that Word's probably not going to go back, probably not going to go into A4. Once Ledger gets that screw attack, they're pretty much gonna be in the lead. Because there's not much of a reason to go down the tower, especially with a lack of item checks. They're going down to lower A4 as well. Hopefully it doesn't forget. There you go. Hasn't been down the tunnel, but we'll have a very pleasant surprise with seeing Screw Attacker. Having about the same amount of DNA. Well, I say that, and where it's got a DNA from the dual gammas. That's kind of a not very much of a surprise. It's kind of out of logic, especially without gravity, but hey, we take what we can get. So, and that being said, Lex is probably going to go find the icing hint. Seed has been interesting. If you haven't already seen what I said. On the one hand, Wave and Spades were on Alpha Squad. On the other, Skirtek was pretty free after getting bombs. And Ledger also finding supers in lower lower tower, but Reds might or might not come back to, and Ledger looking at DNA hints to see which Omegas he needs to do, or just going back to just going to distribution center. So we're probably going around, probably thinking GFS thought, but also Ledger now doing breeding grounds too, since they're just a little more equipped now. Instead of earlier, so might as well do this now. Just missiles. Had to pick one up though. Kinda have to pick one up. And Ledger's figuring out that we need to do one more Omega. So, Words and Ledger basically going back and forth between the DNAs like, once more. Back and forth between DNAs, so words checking and reading grounds 3, while Ledger is checking battlegrounds 2. Both kind of getting bullied by the Metroids. We haven't found the, we haven't found gravity yet. Even though we found Varia pretty early into the seed. And there's DNA for Ledger. That being said, how's chat going? How's the chat? I know there's quite a few people here. Maybe just the lectures or... How's chat going? How's the chat doing? And Ledger opting to do the Omegas now, especially since Ice Beam is down here as well. Oh, Word's also having a bit more DNA than Ledger does. That could also contribute to something I missed on the way. And there's the first Metroid DNA in death. Do keep in mind that Ice Beam is probably on one of the Omegas. At least one of the Omegas. Because Ice Beam can't block itself, because we need Ice Beam to beat the game. Anyway. One of the DNAs. Then now Word's going into part of depth. There is one DNA that hasn't been accounted for though, which is interesting to me because we haven't seen it yet. Meanwhile, Word's doing all this without supers, which is gonna take a bit more time than Ledger doing it, especially with a bit of trying to maneuver around. Though none of the bubble layer is having anything. So we've seen that. So we only have one DNA unaccounted for, I believe. That being said, Ledger probably has a bit more knowledge of where the DNA is, or it really just depends. But from what I can tell, we only need one more DNA. They both know where two of the last DNAs are. Oh, and Word's taking an unfortunate death to the Omega. They do. They hurt a lot more than you think they do. And Ice Beam on being on the Omega and the Hideout Omega, so... So, that being said, Ledger only has 2 DNA left. On the other hand, Word has 1 DNA left. One's still kind of being accounted for. On the other hand, Word having to deal with the Omegas without supers. Still kind of being unaccounted for, but it could also be in Tower, which would be a little annoying on one hand. It also could, and also poor Ledger having to deal with the Guardian and the best boy are not, because Plasma absolutely obliterates them. So probably not gonna check for any more items, just going straight for Metroids. More likely or not, especially with not really needing anything else in tow. Because, well, more supers would be nice. They don't exactly need a whole bunch more stuff. Especially with only 80 missiles, it makes the clean fight a little easier if you don't pick up anything else. Oh no, wait, everything's accounted for on Ledger's side, so we're missing just one on Word Slayer's side, which could kind of be anywhere now that I think about it. We're just missing one on Word Slayer's side. Because Ledger is going to have every other one accounted for. Because as we know now, Ledger has everything else accounted for. There's maybe the hint, which I think that's gonna hint at dual gammas, so that's just gonna lead him right to the where he needs to go. And I don't think Ledger has done dual gammas yet. It's DNA, and are we missing a word side? And where is our gravity suit? Or now I think about it, because the gravity is pretty much an essential part of what we have to deal with, of what is left in our suit. It's essentially the only thing left that we really need. But having a bit more of an arsenal, especially supers, is a bit more. It's a bit better. At the same time, I'm pretty confident that both runners know how to do everything can do Queen without gravity suit. So it's not too bad of a time, it's just kinda slow. It's just a little slow to get around. Well, hey look, we get to see the Alpha Squad, which, if Kirby is right, we'll see all beams from, we'll see all the beams from me. And now we will see all beams from Ledger, which helps significantly in the Queen fight. This is all good and dandy. So Ledger now probably going to the dual gammas. Especially with the Ice Beam and so, and oh no, Ice Beam was behind the Omega, so didn't have to deal with it. Deal with this, right? I don't know. So, and Ledger having all the DNA, so now just having to go do Queen. So, Word's also missing one more DNA, which I don't... Though, again, I don't know which one Word is missing exactly. A to just to get to labs. Meanwhile, Words is probably gonna figure out which DNA they're missing. So yeah, libs. That's not too interesting. So I play a little bit on other settings, so let's with lads, well, being in lads, there's only about 7, 8 Metroids that you have to deal with in Pit Metroids, and this is exactly why we need Ice Beam, because you can't freeze them with that Ice Beam. Doesn't work like Super, sadly. Because it doesn't work like Super, sadly, so... On the one hand, we have... So, that being said, we're probably going to wrap up pretty soon, hopefully. Well, probably going to be just a tiny, well, quite a bit slower because no supers. We haven't seen Word go into tower at all. Word hasn't ever touched tower in this entire seed. We didn't even have to touch tower this seed, well, except for logical supers. But that doesn't really matter too much. And Word's actually getting his final DNA. Getting their final DNA, so they're going back to... They're going to Queen now. Both reasonably also have... Both have a reasonably decent arsenal to deal with Queen. The only real kind of problem is that we don't have Gravity Suit, but at this point, it's not really worth looking for it. It seems one of the other people that is in this raid have finished already, but we'll keep a little bit of discussion of that until later on. But yeah, this seed was a bit. But yeah, this posing part of the seed with both partners pretty much going to clean. This seed was a little bit rough, especially tracker wise. A little rough. So this seed was just a little rough, though getting almost all the trackers was also kind of good as well. A nice, I can't think of the word. A nice break from just people not. A nice race for a nice break from just whatever shenanigans has happened in the last couple of weeks. Yeah, but done really good. I think even with a bad route, this seed was pretty fine. Because both of them had their moments, but at the same time, both of them are relatively close to each other. Words getting to being in labs, being just I think a minute or two. Just being a minute or two apart from each other. So Words having a little bit of trouble with the Omegas, considering no supers. Which Does make me wonder. Let's see, did you get supers? Ah. Yeah. So, where just didn't go into where just didn't get into, I'm trying to make words. Words didn't go to tower at all. Like, just completely skipped it entirely. Like, they didn't even do anything on tower. They kind of looked at it, then just went nope, and left. I forgot where Plasma was. I think also both of them pretty much full cleared A1 and 2, trying to find their gravity suits. Because that's pretty much what they did for cleanup. That is easy for Mr. Ledger. Yeah. This was a seed. Especially ran out of water, so. Hello, Edger.
Yellow, Marlin.
A nice, let's say, break from the weekly so far. How terrible was this?
Okay, well, I'm surprised to see that, it seems like it was kind of close.
Yeah, it has been really close. I think if it wasn't for the fact that words didn't go into tower at all, then I think this would've...
Oh, he doesn't
they
have
would've won.
supers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no plasma, no supers. Yeah, that's gotta be really weird.
Pre-gravity bomb. Oh, so you needed.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, gravity corridor.
Oh, Lord. So those power bombs were required. Oh, that's gross.
I feel like. I don't know. I feel like I fumbled the routing at the start a little bit. Like after A1. I feel like I was just going all over the place after I like save warped out of A1.
Yeah.
But then after that, and then after that, I was kind of like worrying because I was like, oh, should I really like clear this area or clear that area? But then I was just like, no, just calm down and just collect the items, and that's it.
I think it was pretty much back and forth because you guys were in like different places. I think Words pretty much cleared out the majority of breeding grounds too, while you went into Industrial Complex, so you were the first there.
To get Speed Booster, yeah.
Yeah.
Really funky place for Speed Booster.
Yeah.
GG's Glitzy.
On the other hand, I think you were out doing other things, and then Words came back to Hydro Station with bombs and power bombs in tow and got screw attacked before you did.
Right. So he was able to get around
yeah.
sooner than I could.
Yeah. I think they were trying to find supers, but eventually just went, okay, I think they eventually just thought we're never going to find supers and just did the other
no. Watch out, Words.
Oh, Words, don't die.
Just one last phase, come on.
No!
Ouch! It happens. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
So what was I rather late in getting bombs?
I don't remember.
Because I remember it was in Spike Maze, and I was like, oh man, I should have because I remember I went to do the A2 entrance alpha, and then I got high jump, and then I was like, oh well, that'll make A2 easier, I guess. So I'll go do A2, and it took me a while to actually go check Spike Maze.
I think with you, both of you were in A2, but then Word stuck around quite a bit longer, so you were the first to get bombs.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So you were the first to get bombs in Speed Booster, but then he came back eventually to A2 to get Screw Attack before you did.
And I remember also when the only DNAs left were the 2 or 3 Omegas, and that one dual Gamma. I was like at around that time, I was like, oh well, you know, I still don't have gravity, so I guess I'll save the underwater Gamma for last. And on my way there, I'll see if I maybe pick up gravity from one of these Metroids or from the depths or something. But then I never did, so I was like, oh well, screw it. I'll just do it suitless.
I think Words was also banking on finding gravity on the way there as well, but you both just didn't find gravity because it was all the way in Distribution Center, in the one of the worst checks it could ever be.
Almost vanilla. Almost vanilla.
Almost vanilla. Yeah. I think Word did dual Gammas unhinted, but I was out for just a little bit while they were
which Gammas?
The dual Gammas.
Oh, nice.
Also nice Speed Boost too. I was out for just a little bit getting food, so I didn't see what they were up to, but then Kirby pointed out that was a nice little surprise that Alpha Squad had basically both the beams aside from Plasma. I forgot where Plasma was.
Plasma was I think I got Plasma. I think I got it somewhere in either like Industrial or Tower maybe. I don't remember exactly.
Tower didn't have anything other than supers, I believe.
No wait, I got it from a Metroid. Oh, now I don't remember exactly where I got it.
I don't remember either, and I don't think Glitzy got it, but who knows. But yeah, Word doesn't have Plasma. No, we're thinking where Plasma was, not Supers.
Oh man, I still haven't put in that Plasma-less practice in yet.
I haven't.
I'm slacking, man. I'm slacking.
Slacking with Plasma. I mean, granted, these weeklies, you.
Yeah. Granted, Plasma was definitely like the first beam for me. So.
Yeah. It wasn't for Words. It was so the only beams they got were from Alpha Squad. So it's just.
Right.
Also,
so,
noticing Words doesn't have any music, but whatever.
It's still it's a good amount of ammo to have if you're choosing to do Queen without I think without supers or Plasma.
I will say, like, if you have a bunch of supers, then it's very good because supers don't scale Queen HP.
Ah, that's right.
It's only the missiles. So if you have supers and you can use them, then yeah, it does do a bit more damage, especially since it doesn't scale. Though also bombs work too.
Oh, I wonder what the race time GG looks like. Oh.
You were like almost 2 minutes.
Cool.
Yeah, like 3 minutes. After Glitzy got done.
Just to make it clear, just because I was 3 minutes behind Glitzy does not mean that I'm anywhere near as good as Glitzy. It's just that this seed was kind of weird. And like you can see, you can see in the chat as well that he was also kind of like worrying about like where to do checks, and he just full cleared areas, and he was paranoid and whatever. So you know, it happens.
I mean, this seed was a good kind of weird, especially with the bit of a change in pace of it, because the last few seeds have been not great.
Right. Were there any like I remember that nothing happened in my run with like, you know, the new softlock change to the preset.
I didn't see much, especially since nothing really. I don't know if the new preset. I don't know if that's the alternate.
Yeah, because I didn't check Screw Attack Chamber, I didn't check Gravity, I didn't check Ice Beam, and those are like, you know, the main three.
Yeah.
things that you need those items to get out of the room.
Yeah, was it really relevant? Well, except for gravity, because gravity
Oh,
blocked
yeah.
itself. Gravity was a one-way, which is probably why no one really went to get gravity, because it's one-way.
Oh, what's in race time? Do you mean glitzy?
No.
I don't know what I mean by port. Oh, in AM2. Oh yeah, I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Never seen that.
Alright, this is almost done? Hopefully.
He seems to be better off this time, yeah.
Eh. Hopefully it's a go queen.
He has bombs and power bombs, so he'll be fine. Nice.
Nice. Too bad there's no Fried Queen, but it is a race setting, so no Fried Queen today.
Speaking of presets, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe next week we will be showcasing, you know, the new shiny, fancy new shiny presets, the alternative preset.
Which I don't remember anything about, so huh.
I think like the main change was like I think is the random start locations, and you have some items to start off with. I think those were like the two main changes, if I remember correctly.
I think so. I guess I gotta go check.
So if you've been keeping up with the weeklies and you think, oh man, this standard stuff is kind of boring, I want to see something new. Well, you know, remember to catch us next week, as we will be running. Yeah, there's Glitzy. Yeah, there he is. He pasted the changes into chat. You know, come back next week and you'll see the new alternative preset.
So every item is Miguel has been changed to 10 DNA, which can be placed at Metroid bosses on almost every stage station in a possible start location. Oh my gosh. Oh goodness. Gonna be one heck of a seed then.
Pretty fun though.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm no stranger to those trick settings. I feel pretty confident in being able to, you know, wall jump and, you know, do all that stuff and get everywhere. After the amount of multi-worlds that I've done. GG's words.
GG's. Give me a sec.
We gonna catch him in here?
Yeah.
Come on in.
I had to click the done button. Forgot it for a sec.
Do you remember who got the powerbomb launcher first?
I think Words did.
Yeah.
Power PBs and then Screw Attack.
That high jump challenge. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. This was a seed.
Yeah, it was. I actually kind of enjoyed that, though.
It was a nice change of pace from the garbage that we've seen.
Yeah. So where were supers?
Yeah, they were in lower tower, like the first check in
power
lower
plant
tower.
Okay. So I could have easily had those if I just, you know, checked one extra thing.
If you just simply went to tower and checked, you could have had those, but
yeah. I think by the time I got to tower, I was like, I just need hints. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Because I had everything I quote unquote needed to finish at that point. I just was hoping I would find supers along the way.
But and the thing with Tower is that it didn't have anything of value other than the supers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have gone to Tower, found the supers, and then potentially think, I have to clear all of this, and then you just
Yeah,
get nothing
exactly.
after that. So
Yeah. But no, I enjoyed fighting 4 Omegas without supers.
well, yeah,
It was
yeah.
slow, but some of my most played games are Smash Brothers and Hollow Knight, so like that kind of fight is one of my favorites. But,
Right.
like super challenging, but there's a clear pattern and a clear correct way to do it, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, Plasma was in Dual Alphas. That's right.
And research sign. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what was it? Research site?
Yeah,
Plasma
Plasma
Beam.
was in research.
Oh yeah, that would have made Queen a lot easier for sure.
Oh yeah.
But no, that race, for your context, Ledger, I think, starting the Queen fight when you finished. I just died on the final phase, so it took me an
Yeah.
extra 5 minutes.
I think so. Yeah.
So that was a really fun competitive race. I like how that ended up.
I mean, yeah, without Plasma, without supers, it can get kind of rough.
Yep. But yeah, there was a moment. I'm glad I did it where I kind of debated whether or not I should, but I dipped into Bubble very early before I was ready to fight any of the Omegas. But I'm just like, I just want to get this hint so I know where all the Metroids are, so I don't have to waste time on anything else.
Yeah.
And it ended up being worth it because I think that was the hint for the dual gamma, where it's just like if I didn't decide to go for that hint early, I would have checked a whole bunch of other stuff before going to dual gamma. So that ended up saving a lot of time.
I think I recall Glitzy said that they got paranoid, so they full cleared everything from A1 to A2, and they got to distribution early, but decided to not do dual gammas, the 1 DNA at dual gammas, so they went to go back to do that last.
Yeah, I did a very similar thing. Sorry, go ahead.
Speaking of distribution center, that gravity suit. Oh no.
Wait, what?
Gravity was at Gravity Corridor.
Yeah.
Oh, like vanilla gravity, or
wa-
just before,
Before vanilla, yeah. Just
Oh.
before, that's right, yeah.
So,
So you
gravity
needed PBs
was a
for that.
one-way. You needed PBs for it.
Dang, that sucks.
Yeah.
And like that would be like the one case where our new, preset settings would have come in.
Right.
Where you go in and you get gravity because you need it to get out of gravity area.
Mm-hmm. Good old classic dead end checks.
Oh yes.
Gotta love them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I did a similar thing to Glitzy where I pretty much full cleared 1 and 2. I checked a couple things in 3 before that maybe, but no, I'm trying to remember. No, bombs was Spike Maze. Yeah, I did a good bit in 3, but then ended up full clearing 2 before checking Tower, and I was really glad I did because I saw Screw Attack, and then that kind of opened everything up.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember. I think Malin said that I got Screw Attack after you.
Okay.
What else? I was also kind of like similarly like paranoid and like hesitating. Oh, should I really clear all of A1? Should I leave this now in A2 and then go to Tower? Should I clear Tower? Because there was a period of time where I was in Tower right after getting supers, and I was just with the supers. Now I can do all the Metroids in here, all the Zetas, all the Gammas easier. So I went to do the Gammas first, but then started with the Zetas. But I was like, oh, this feels like really uncomfortable because I sort of abandoned A2 and BG2, and that was like stuck in the back of my head as I was doing Tower. So then it got to a certain point where I was just like, okay, I don't want a full clear Tower. I'm done here. I feel like I have to go back and check A2, and then I did.
Yeah. I'm starting to feel like the meta for these settings at least is just go for hints. Like as
Yeah.
quickly as possible, go for hints whenever you can, because like the minimum stuff you need to clear the game is like such a small fraction of the items that are out there that like you usually have it by the time you get the hints, and that ends up being the bottleneck, where it's just like go for the information, and then you
Yeah.
can have just bombs, a handful of missiles, and ice beam, and you've got most of what you need at that point. So as long as
Yeah.
you can get to the Metroids that you're looking for, then you're good.
That's something that I think maybe I could have focused on a little bit more, because I was worried about killing Metroids and checking all the things when I think I could have. I think there was space to like put more focus into getting all the hints first.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely like a path I could have taken. Yeah, so GG's words, GG's glitzy.
GG's.
GG's to everyone. We'll probably be here about the same time next week.
Are you excited for the alternative preset?
I don't know because it might be garbage. It might be fun. I don't really know, especially with the random start.
I'm excited for it, but I feel like I'm gonna do terribly. But who knows? I need to study up. I think is basically the thing. If I don't do practice or study during the week, it's gonna be painful.
Yeah. Other than that, and do we have anything else to say before we close off?
I'm good here, Chief.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll be back here about the same time next week, unless the weekly organizers decide to move it back to the original time that we had, which might be the case, it might not. Who knows?
And if they decide to show up on time.
Yeah, that's
so what is
it.
that
I'm just
situation?
kidding. I'm just kidding.
Jay,
We love
what
the
exactly-
organizers.
Jay,
Is it like
Jay-
European DST changed or something, or like what? What?
the whole daylight savings thing, and then
Uh-huh.
us putting it back an hour, and then Jay saying we should put it back to an hour earlier, so it'd be like 4 p.m. CST or something, or 5
Okay.
p.m. EST.
So it's
I
just a
don't
discussion
know.
of when it should be. I don't know, because
Yeah.
I remember I feel like I heard someone say that like it's really awkward around daylight savings because the U.S. does it and then Europe does it like 2 or 3 weeks later or something weird like that, and it just gets
Yeah.
all screwy for that month or so
Yeah,
because you
so
never
that might-
know what time is what.
Yeah, so might be discussion, might be an hour earlier. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see about it next week.
Alright.
Other than that, you want to join the Discord or just race in general, there is a Discord that we have.
Or if you would
Blue.
just like to play the game for fun.
Yep.
Yep.
It is a really fun randomizer to race. More
Yep,
fun
really
than most of the
fun
ones I've
randomizer.
done.
Be sure
Yeah.
to follow the racers and maybe follow the
Yep.
commentary if you want to see once in a blue moon stuff. Other than that, see you next mission.
See you next mission.
Goodbye. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.